So you're welcome once again to another edition of our class. So in this class, we learn biology. So today we are going to be looking at the topic before us, which is animal nutrition. So the topic that we're going to be looking at today is animal nutrition. Nutrition means feeding, and all living organisms they carry out this process because it's one of the characteristics of living things. So as animal feeds, plants also feeds. So so nutrition is the process by which plants and animals feed. So that's why we're going to be looking at the nutrition in animal today. From our plant class, we already know that organisms are grouped into two based on how they get the food they eat. So we have the autotrophs and the heterotrophs. So animals are heterotrophs because they cannot manufacture their food. They eat the food that is being produced by plants. So they take in this food. So the food can be liquid, it can be in form of gas, it can be in form of solid. So they take it in order for them to grow, for them to survive, and for them to be able to carry out their daily activities. So based on the type of food that animal eats, animals are grouped into three. So we have three groups. So the first group is the carnivorous carnivorous group. So this is the first group, the carnivorous group. So these are group of animals that they feed on flesh. So this group of animals, they eat meat, they eat flesh. So example of animals in this group include lion, hyena, leopard, tiger, dog. So all these animals, they eat flesh. So we have the next group, which we call herbivorous. So this group of animals, they eat plants. They eat plants. So like goats, like sheep, cattle. So they are group of animals that feed on plants. So we also have another one. We call them omnivorous. So these omnivorous animals, they are group of animals that eat both flesh and they also feed on plants. So they eat both. Example of omnivorous animals are, we have man and pig. So they feed on both plants, they also feed on flesh. So now we're going to, these food that are eaten by animals, they contain different substances. They contain different food substances that are needed for the normal growth and proper functioning of the bodies of animals. So these food substances are grouped into six. So we're going to be looking at the groups of food substances. So the groups include, so we have six groups of food substances. So the first one is the carbohydrate. Carbohydrate. The second one is proteins. The third one is fats and oils. The next one is vitamins. Then we have minerals. So mineral salts. Mineral salts. We have water and roughages. So these are the groups of food substances that are taken by animals. So we are going to be looking at each of these substances. We are going to be looking at their different compositions, food sources, and their importance in the body of animals. So the first one that we are going to be looking at is carbohydrate. So the first group is the carbohydrate. Carbohydrates. So these carbohydrates, they are groups of food substances that animals eat. So what is the composition? Composition of carbohydrates. Composition. The composition of carbohydrates include carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. So these are the elements that are present in carbohydrate substances. So now, food sources of carbohydrates. Food sources include rice, corn, millet, yam, cassava, potatoes, and so on. We have a lot of them. Some are processed, like bread is a processed food, but it contains carbohydrates. So we have a lot of food that are the sources of carbohydrates. Now we have different types of carbohydrates. So we have types of carbohydrates. Types of carbohydrates. So the first one is monosaccharide. Monosaccharides. So while the second one is disaccharide. And the third one is polysaccharides. So these are different types of carbohydrates that we have. So now we're going to be talking about the monosaccharides. So this monosaccharide, they are simple sugars, they are simple carbohydrates because they have only one unit of the carbohydrate. They have a general formula. Their general formula is C6H12O6. This is the general formula for monosaccharides. And example of monosaccharides are examples. We have fructose, we have glucose, and we also have galactose. So these are examples of monosaccharides. So now the disaccharides, they are made up of two simple sugars. So they are bigger than the monosaccharides. So their general formula is C12H22O11. So this is the general formula for disaccharides. So examples, e.g., examples of disaccharides, we have the maltose, we have sucrose, we have lactose. These are examples of disaccharides. So now the polysaccharides are made up of two simple sugars or several simple sugars. They can be joined together to make this polysaccharide. So the polysaccharide is a large molecule of sugar. So they have this H10O5 into N, where this N represents a large number. So by the time you use this number, whatever number you have here to open this bracket, you are going to see that they are large molecule of sugar. Example of polysaccharides are, we have starch, cellulose. They are polysaccharides. Now that we have seen the different types of carbohydrates, so what are the functions of carbohydrates? So we can see that carbohydrates supply energy to the body. Yes, it supply the body with energy because the end product of the digestion of carbohydrates is glucose. So that's the end product. So when carbohydrate food is being taken, it will be broken down into simple substances that the body can use. So the end product of it is glucose, and this glucose serves as source of energy. Another function of carbohydrates is that it can also supply heat to the body. Carbohydrates supply it to the body. And so another use is that there are some substances in the body that are made through carbohydrates, like mucus. You see that mucus is an important substance that lines the respiratory system. So this mucus built is synthesized using carbohydrates. And also carbohydrate form the is used to build the skeleton of some animals, like in the case of arthropods. So carbohydrate is used in building their skeleton. So now we are going to look at protein. So protein. So we have so protein is one of the substances that can be gotten in that are present in the food of animals. So this protein, they are large molecules. So that is why when food that contains protein are taken, they are reduced to amino acid in the body, so for the body to be able to assimilate it. So the end product of the digestion of protein in the body is amino acid. So what are the composition of protein? So composition, it is composed of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and it can also contain nitrogen and sulfur can also be present in protein. So these are the compositions of a protein. So food sources of protein. So we have food sources of protein. Some can be from animal origin and some can be from plant origin. So the ones that are from animals include meat, fish, cheese, milk, egg. So you can see that all these are from animals. They are gotten from animals, so they are animal sources of protein. So we also have plant sources, which include beans, peas. So these are plant sources of protein. So now, like I said, that protein are large molecules that the body cannot use directly. They need to be broken down into smaller forms that can be used. So when protein is being taken, so this is the process of breaking down the protein. So when protein is being taken, it will be converted to peptones. So the protein then to polypeptides and then to amino acids. So the protein will go through these stages from protein to peptones, from peptones to polypeptides, then to amino acid before the body can make use of it. So this amino acid, we have 20 amino acids. So we have the essential and the non-essential. So the essential are the ones that we need to take in our food, while the non-essential are the ones that are synthesized naturally in the body of animals. So we have so that so example of amino acid, we have lysine, we have serine, leucine, methionine, histidine, proline, and so on, asparagine, glutamic acid. So we have a lot of them. We have 20 of them. So they are needed in the body. So what are the functions of protein? So is needed for growth. Yes, for normal growth of the body, protein is needed because it is needed to build new cells and to repair the worn out cells. The proteins are needed to build new cells and to repair the worn out ones, because old cells are destroyed, so new cells needed, and there is need for them to to emerge. So protein is needed for this process in the body. And also protein, it helps in building the body, like I said earlier. So therefore it is needed for normal growth. And also protein is needed in reproduction. Reproduction to take place, a lot of hormones and enzymes are needed, and to build these hormones and enzymes there is need for protein. So protein is used in building them. So protein is needed in reproduction, and also it is used to form new cell. Yes, it is used in cell formation in the body. So it is through the process of cell formation that living organism increase in size, so which brings about growth. So and also protein also supply the amino acid that is needed in the body. So protein also supply them to the body. So we have seen the different things about protein. I've seen the composition, the elements of protein, the food sources of protein, and the process of breaking down protein in the body, and the functions of protein. Now we are going to oils. So fat and oils are lipids and oils. So fat and oils are lipids. So fat is a solid lipid, while oils are liquid lipid at room temperature. So during digestion, they are both hydrolyzed into fatty acids and glycerols, and then they are absorbed into the lymphatic system. So fats and oils, they are part of food substances that is taken by animals. So we want to look at the composition of fat and oil. So the composition, so what are the things that are present in fat and oil? So compositions include carbon. So carbon is present, hydrogen is present also, and very little oxygen. Yes, the oxygen is very little. So these are the compositions of fat and oils. So food sources of fat and oils. Food sources. So the food sources of fat and oils include palm oil, butter, margarine, melon. We also have lard, fish. You see, some fish contains fats and oils. Cheese also contains fat and oil. So these are the food sources of fat and oil to animals. So now we're going to be looking at importance of fat and oil. So when fat and oil are being taken, what are the importance of fat and oil? So the first one is it supply energy to the body. Yes, fat and oil supply energy even more than carbohydrates to the body of animals. So when it is eaten, fat produce oil, it produce energy to the body of animals. Another one is also supply heat. So they provide heat, thereby they help to maintain the body temperature. So fat provide supply heat to the body, so it also help to maintain the body temperature. They also provide fat soluble vitamins to the body. So that is fat. They are very important, and also they supply the essential fatty acids. So the fatty acid that is needed by animals are supplied through fats and oils. Vitamins. So vitamins are organic substances. Though they are needed in small amounts, they are very important for proper growth and development of animals. So we have two types of vitamins. So we have the fat soluble vitamin and the water soluble vitamin. So the fat soluble vitamins, so fat soluble and water soluble. Fat soluble and water soluble vitamin. So these are the two types of vitamins that we have. So the fat soluble are the type of vitamins that can dissolve in fat. So the fat solubles, they can dissolve in fat. Example, we have Vitamin A. Vitamin A is otherwise known as retinol. Otherwise known as retinol. So we have vitamin. So we have vitamin C. Vitamin C is also known as ascorbic acid. Ascorbic acid. We have vitamin D. Vitamin D is known as calciferol. Vitamin D. So we have vitamin. So we have vitamin E, which is also known as ergosterol. So we have vitamin K. Vitamin quinone. So these are fat soluble vitamin. So vitamin A called retinol, vitamin C called ascorbic acid, vitamin D the calciferol, vitamin E ergosterol, vitamin K phylloquinone. So now vitamin A is very important in the body. So because it is responsible for uh, vision. So vitamin A helps with good vision. So and proper functioning of the body. So while the deficiency of vitamin A will lead to night blindness, is a condition known as night blindness and poor vision. So and um yeah, poor development of the body. So we have vitamin C. So vitamin C called ascorbic acid is very important because it protects the body against diseases, and also okay, it boosts the immune system. It helps the body. C helps the body to resist diseases, and also it also helps in the healing of wounds. So the deficiency of vitamin C leads to a condition known as scurvy. So and this scurvy, you see, there will be wounds in the mouth, in the cheeks, in the corner of the mouth. So is due to the a poor intake of vitamin C. So we have vitamin D, which is calciferol. It is needed for proper development of the bone, yes, and teeth formation. So the deficiency of vitamin D will lead to rickets and poor and bone problems. So there will be bone problems. So vitamin E is known as ergosterol because it helps in forming the steroid hormone that are needed in reproduction. So it helps fertility, it helps reproduction. So deficiency of vitamin E will lead to problems with reproduction, and it can also lead to premature abortion in animals. So we have the vitamin K. It aids in blood clotting, yes, for proper clotting of the blood. So vitamin K is needed. So poor intake of vitamin K will lead to bleeding, loss of blood. So in case where there is accident, maybe there is a cut on the body, so the body will not be able to produce um, platelets that will help to clot the wound to prevent the loss of blood. So vitamin K is needed for blood clotting. So these are fat soluble vitamin K. So the water soluble vitamin, so they are the vitamin B complexes, which include vitamin B1, B2, B3, B5, B6, B12, and folic acid. You can see that these vitamins are soluble in water, and they are very important in the body because they are responsible for the synthesis of different substances in the body and for proper functioning of different parts of the body. So some of them, they are responsible for the formation of blood, yes, they are responsible for the formation of blood cells. Some are responsible for respiration, for cellular respiration, for proper functioning of the organs in the body. So the vitamin B are very, very important. So we have foods that can be eaten, food sources for these vitamins. So they are like leafy vegetables, eggs, milk, cheese, palm wine, um can also supply some of the vitamins, and also brown rice, unpolished rice. Yes, unpolished rice is very good because the fiber at the back has not been peeled off. So unpolished rice is a good source of vitamins. So and fruits generally contains vitamins. So these are food sources of vitamins. So we are going